Hello everyone, Tennessee Tactical back at it again with another YouTube video for you. So I have just completed my handgun specialist program at the Sonoran Desert Institute. This is a new program that they have kind of just launched in the past year, really in the past few months. So I've just completed that program and awaiting my credential, but everything's done. So now we're going to go into final reflection and review of this program. Now, I did make some separate course videos. There's 4 courses in this program. We'll get into that in just a second. I only had to take 3. So the major courses that I took in this program, I made separate review videos on. I will link those down in the description below. I highly suggest you check those out because I'm not going to go into as much course-specific detail as I did in those videos. That's what those videos were for. That's what their purposes were for, to give you some more, specific details about those specific courses. This is a more broad review of the entire program itself. So that is what this video is for, and that's what those videos were for, and I will put those down in the description below. Like I said, highly suggest you check those out, as they've got a lot of information in them that you might want to look at. So this is going to be a long video, so sit back, grab a snack, get a drink, and let's get into this together, because this is going to take a minute. So this has been a wild few months. Like I said, this is a new program from SDI. I'm coming off of graduating already from the Sonoran Desert Institute back in August of 23. I graduated with my Associates of Science in Firearms Technology. And then just a couple short months after I graduated, they kind of launched this program and talked about it and kind of put it up on their website. And I made some videos about that. And then I told you guys that I was going to take this program. And I took it, and I've got some complaints, a lot of them actually. I've got some pros, some cons, some good things to say, some bad things to say, and just kind of an overall kind of reflection and review of this program. So let's go into it like this. So there's 4 courses in this program. Okay, there is mechanics in firearms, revolvers, striker-fired pistols, and hammer-fired pistols. So those are 4 courses. That's it. There's only 4 courses in this program. Now, I only had to take 3. Now, why is that? Because, like I said, I graduated from the Sonoran Desert Institute before I took this course, or this program, with my Associates of Science in Firearms Technology. And because of that, there's a course in this program that was credited to me because it is technically an overlapping course. So the course Mechanics in Firearms is the exact same course, or very similar to the course that I took, which was Introduction to Firearms. So Mechanics in Firearms is basically the introductory course to a firearms program. So like, the gunsmithing certification or the associate's degree that I took at SDI, and even this handgun specialist program, your introductory course is going to be either Intro to Firearms or Mechanics in Firearms. Like I said, they're basically the same, just worded different. Essentially, this is your introductory course to firearms, their action types, different firearms, how to clean firearms, and you're going to do some type of like gunsmithing tools labs. You're going to have to like disassemble a firearm and reassemble it. So this is basically just an introductory course to firearms. That's basically all you need to know. Revolvers, very simple. By the name, it's a course specifically dedicated to the revolver platform. Striker-fired pistols course, same thing, dedicated to the striker-fired pistol platform. Hammer-fired pistols, same thing, dedicated to the hammer-fired pistol platform. And that's all there is. I'm going to show you the 3 major firearms that we got for these courses. These firearms have already been cleared and checked and made sure that there's no ammunition in them prior to handling them before the video. So this is the Taurus 856. This was the firearm that we got for the revolver course. This is a 38 Special 6-shot pistol, or revolver rather. So this is the revolver that we got. This might change based on, how long they have this course and offer this course. Things might change. I know at SDI in the past, they've kind of switched up some course material. But as far as right now, the revolver you're going to get is the Taurus 856. For the striker-fired pistol course, you're going to get a PSA dagger. This is a Glock 19 Gen 3 clone from Palmetto State Armory. This is a, like I said, 9mm Glock Gen 3 clone. And then for the hammer-fired pistols, you're going to get the SAR B6. This is basically a CZ clone made from SAR USA. So this is another firearm we got for the hammer-fired pistols. So those are the three major pistols that we've got. That's technically the only three firearms that we did get for this program. And we had to work within those and do certain things with those firearms. And like I said, I talked about that in my specific course reviews, and we'll kind of touch on it a little bit in this video. But so basically, there's a lot that I need to say here, so we'll kind of go into it like this. We'll start with the pros and the cons. This is basically just an opinionated video. You know, I want to leave all the specific stuff out because there's a lot I need to say. So, the pros. Okay, so if you've been to SDI before, you will know that there's a lot of writing. Why is that? Mainly because SDI is an accredited online distance learning college. So there has to be some type of writing involved. I mean, it's just a college. It's what colleges are, right? You do a lot of papers and writing. Now, a lot of people don't like that who have attended SDI. Me personally, I didn't either. For one big reason. Gunsmithing, specifically, is something that cannot really be taught through papers. It's something that you have to actually do hands-on. It's more like a trade school. It should be like a trade school. This is something that you should, work with your hands and do hands-on projects. That's where you actually gain your knowledge, and, to further your education and to actually become a gunsmith. So there was a lot of, criticism in SDI's past offerings with their certification in gunsmithing and their associates in firearms technology, which also has, your certified gunsmith thing built into that. There's a lot of writing and less hands-on work. There was only just a few hands-on projects through each courses, and there was for every 10 papers we had to write, there was one hands-on project, which a lot of people did not like. So SDI, I think, to combat that, created this course, created this program, which is a certificate in firearms technology, specifically for handguns, which is why they call it Handgun Specialist. Now, how this works is, like I said, at SDI and in past offerings, you would have to write a lot of papers, just like a college. In this program, it's different. So whenever you go into this program, there's going to be videos that you have to make, literally just like this. So, for instance, the Palmetto State Armory PSA Dagger, we had to make a video on this. So each week we would have to make a video. Each assignment, every assignment, 90% of the assignments were video assignments. So this course, this program, this is probably something I should let you know as well. This course is a 20-week, one semester program. So it's a 16-semester credit hour in 20 weeks for one semester. So you're going to be, the entire program length is 20 weeks. Within those 20 weeks, it's broken up into each course, right? So in past SDI offerings, like I said, in the certificate in gunsmithing, the associate's degree, you would have multiple courses at once because, that's just how it would be broken down into. At least for the associate's degree, I don't know what it was for the certificate in gunsmithing because I chose to get the degree, not the certificate. But in this program, it is based solely on each course. So when you start, you're going to take one class. And then after you finish that one class, you're going to take another. So each course or each thing, you're only taking one course at a time. So it gives you a little bit of time to hone in on each specific platform. Now, in each specific course, it's only 5 weeks that you're going to be learning. So each course is 5 weeks. So 5, 10, 15, 20. There's 4 courses. 4 times 5 is 20. That's how you get that 20-week semester. Now, I would argue that it's actually 4 weeks for each course, and I'll explain why. When I took the program, and it might be different, during your time of taking it, but in my time of taking this program, you would have week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, but then week 5 would be like your reflection and review week. So we literally didn't learn anything on week 5 at all. It was week 5 was make a video about what you've learned over the past 4 weeks. So that's not learning anything new. That's reflecting on what I've done the past 4 weeks, which is technically what I'm doing here in this video. So I would argue that these courses are actually 4 weeks long, but they throw that extra week in there to give you a reflection week, to reflect on what you've learned. So it's kind of weird. I don't know why they do it like that. They could have just done that as the last assignment for week 5 and actually threw in a little bit more information that you could have learned. Don't know why they didn't do that, but, you know, I don't make those decisions. So that is how basically the program is set up. And then after you've done your last course, you're done. So that's how that works. Each week you're given a set, set assignments. So for each course, this kind of bodes true. I mean, each course is basically the same in terms of layout, is in the assignments and stuff. So each week there was like one assignment, one discussion board that you had to reply to 2 of your classmates, at least 2 of them, and then you had to make a discussion post. And then also within that you had a quiz or a midterm exam or your final exam, depending on, which week you were in. So there wasn't a lot of required assignments that you had to do each week. It was very, it was very easy as far as time management. There was a lot, when I took the associates program, I was like, man, I don't have any time to do anything. But when I took this program, I'm like, I have a lot more time because there's not as much to learn here. I don't, because this is specifically to handguns and just, 3 different guns, 3 different platforms. So that's how basically this program is set up. Now, going back into the pros, I should have done that before, but going back into the pros, I like the videos better than I did the writing because it gives you more of a hands-on kind of experience. I feel like you get to learn more and grow more into the program. The papers were more about just let's get the word count, let's get the grammatic errors out of the paper and make sure we're not plagiarizing. There wasn't really a lot of learning to be done from the paper assignments. And so I really like how SDI kind of changed that format to where students are now able to do hands-on projects, a lot more hands-on projects, and making videos like this. And I like that. So that's good. Another pro that I see in this program is the fact that you get 3 firearms. It may seem kind of weird to say as a pro. I mean, obviously it's a pro, but being a former student of SDI anyway, and taking their like I said, I took their associates program. Technically, I only worked with 2 firearms, and you got to think an associate's degree is 2 years long. Within that program, I only technically built 2 guns, and technically one was, considered an antique. So we had to do a muzzleloader back in the SDI, the associates program. And then for the capstone project or at the end of your degree, you got to choose a firearm based on their selection. I chose an AR-10. And for you repeat offenders from SDI and stuff, you guys know this, but for people who are new to this, that's how it worked back then. So all that time, and I only worked on 2 guns. There was a few firearms of my own that, we kind of had to work on. But 2 guns in a 2-year program. This is a 20-week, this new program that I'm talking about now is a 20-week course or a 20-week program. And we get 3 guns. That's awesome. That's great. That's how it should have been. I mean, yeah, we could get into the fact that that's going to be super expensive for tuition costs and the fact that, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to get into all that, but just the fact that we got to work on so many firearms, that was awesome. That really helped me grow as a gunsmith. I was already technically awarded, my certificate in gunsmithing as well as, my associates in firearms technology. That kind of goes hand in hand. Before I even took this program. So going into it with, prior gunsmithing knowledge and prior gunsmithing experience, and then working on 3 different handguns, that was really cool because I was able to apply those skills from before into more hands-on projects. So like I said, the hands-on projects were awesome. What were the hands-on projects that we got to do? So the 2 firearms, out of the 3 handguns that we were sent, only one had to technically be assembled from receiving. So that was the PSA dagger. This was sent in a parts kit, and we had to assemble the whole thing. The other two, the Taurus A56 revolver and the SAR B6 hammer fired, those two were already assembled upon delivery, and those technically we didn't do much with, but I'll explain in a minute. This one we assembled, and not only did we assemble it, but we actually had to learn how to stipple. So we stippled our firearm, as well as install a compensator on this. I don't have it on here now. You can find that in my hammer-fired pistols course. I know it's weird. Like I said, there's some complaints. I'll get to that later. But you will find the compensator on this gun in my hammer-fired pistols course. And yes, that sounds weird, but we're going to get into that. So this was the only one we had to assemble. Now, for the Taurus 856, we had to disassemble this because it was already assembled, and then reassemble it, do a few other things with it. We had to do a trigger job and replace some springs for some low-powered springs. That was really cool because I got to learn how to do a trigger job. That was awesome. This was probably my favorite course of the program, was the revolver course. I learned a ton from this course because I didn't really know that much about revolvers. I was more of a striker and hammer-fired guy. But this was a really cool course, and we got to do that with this one. And then for the SAR B6 in the hammer-fired course, we disassembled it, reassembled it, and that's it. That's all we did. No aftermarket modifications, no trigger jobs, no compensators, no optics, nothing. That was it. But we're going to get into that. So that's another pro. Like I said, the fact that we did a few more hands-on projects than we did from the last thing that I did at SDI. Another pro that I can see here is the fact that each course was kind of structured a little bit better. At SDI before, there was these huge textbooks that you had to kind of search through and find certain things. And, SDI, by the way, is a self-taught, self-paced school. You have to teach yourself. You have to discipline yourself to teach yourself. The instructors aren't going to teach you. They're going to grade your work, but they're not going to teach you. They might give you incentives, and they might help you throughout your time, and they might give you some pointers and stuff like that to aid you in your studies, but they're not going to teach you. You have to teach yourself. So there's something there that you need to know. And this video is going to be all over the place. That's okay, because that's just me. So, like I said, though, it was structured better. So when I took SDI before in the associates program, like I said, huge textbooks, huge digital textbooks there, all over the place. We had to kind of bounce from here to here, and it was crazy. Within this program, they consolidated a lot of information and put it into what's called lectures. So each week was called week 1 module, week 1, 2 mod, 3, 4, 5, whatever. But then in each week, you had your lecture. And what your lecture was just your course material or your textbooks, your study materials that you learn. And it was so easily structured. So like you would click it, it said week 1 lecture. You click it, and it brings you into this little program thing. And then it shows like different bullet points of what you're going to learn. And you click on each bullet point, and it lays it all out for you. It's super easy to understand. There's videos that you get to watch too. That's another thing. Not only do you get to do videos, but you get to watch videos. So like that kind of helped me assemble some of these guns, the guns, and disassemble them and do different things. You weren't just doing that alone, reading a paper like, okay, do this trigger job here, replace the spring. You actually watched one of their gunsmiths do it, and he aided you in doing your work. So it wasn't a live video, get into a Zoom meeting or something, but it was a pre-recorded video that you had to watch, and it kind of aided you within your time here. And that was so good because, like I said, SDI prior, and I'm going to make a lot of, kind of points to, my last time at SDI. So when I took SDI before this course or this program, I remember that there was just a lot of reading and writing. That was it. There was not a lot of videos. It was just reading and writing, old school, kind of school stuff. No hands-on videos to watch to kind of guide me through. None of that. It was just bare bones writing and reading, reading and writing. But in this program, thank God, there's a lot of video instruction, and there's a lot of lecture too, reading lecture, but there's a lot of, like I said, video lecture as well. So there's a nice balance between reading and watching and applying what you've watched and read to your, application and your hands-on projects. So that's really cool. That was a pro here. And that really does it for the pros. Did I learn an adequate amount of information? I think some of it I did. We're going to get into the cons now, though. So this is where it gets a little heated. So I think overall they did a decent job of putting this program together. But there is there's really two major problems with this program. One, we're going to talk about, it's a little bit more subjective to my opinion. The other one, most of the students agree with me on this one, and I've talked to a lot of classmates and now former classmates, but the other one they mostly agree on. This one's a little bit more subjective. So the time limit. Some students agree with this as well, that the time limit was dumb, and we'll talk about what that means. So because you had to make videos like this to your instructor of getting your firearm out and working on it, there was a time limit. And, and while I understand why there's a time limit, because these instructors don't have an hour, like I'm going to make an hour video here, they don't have an hour to sit through and watch every student. You're thinking even 10 students, there's a lot more than 10 students in my class, but you're thinking if there's just 10 students in a class and they're both making, hour videos, that's a lot of time to be watching videos and trying to grade work. That's insane. So I do agree with a time limit. Don't get me wrong, but not as strict as the time limit was. So let me tell you kind of how this worked and how this happened. So, with the revolver, okay, we had to disassemble this thing and talk about different parts, how they worked, stuff like that. There was, and this applies for a lot of these assignments, but I'll just consolidate it into one example. So let's just use one example here. For this assignment, you're going to disassemble this revolver. You're going to, prior to disassembling, you're going to clear your firearm. You're going to make sure you have no ammunition on your bench. You're going to show me that. You're also going to say your name, your course title, your instructor name, everything like that. You're going to disassemble this. You're going to talk about the parts that you've disassembled, what they do, how they function. Then you're going to reassemble it, do a functions check, and all that in 10 minutes. Now, if I'm disassembling this for the first time, it's going to take me longer than 10 minutes because I've never disassembled this before. By the way, you're trying to watch the video of how they disassembled it to, do it right. And you're doing this all on camera. And, 10 minutes is not enough. Now, here is, something, again, this is more subjective. It's a little bit more opinionated. I don't think it's inherently a bad thing to have a time limit. But the way they went about it was a little crazy. So, like I said, 10 minutes for all that. How do you fix that, right? How do I fix a 40-minute video into a 10-minute video? Well, it's simple. Video editing. You just edit the video. Something that I don't do very much of because I just like to do raw, uncut videos because that's just who I am. I have kind of done a little bit more of edited videos in some of my videos on the channel recently, but I don't really do editing. That's not my thing. And a lot of students in the discussions were talking about how, and also in the student group page, were like, I didn't sign up to be a video editor. If I wanted to do video editing, I would have taken some kind of video editing, a degree or something. So, and that may sound kind of bogus, but it was true. I tell you right now, if I took 40 minutes making the video itself, like just doing the work, like if I took 40 minutes to disassemble the revolver, reassemble it, talk about what I needed to do the assignment, 40 minutes to do the assignment, I took about 2.5, 3 hours just to freaking edit the video, make sure the video was edited properly and met the timeline. And then if it didn't, I had to go back, cut more parts out. And here's the problem. The more you cut out, the less information you're giving. And that's the thing. It's like if you cut out too much information, then you've cut out information that the instructor needs to see that you know what you're talking about. So there was a few times where I've got points docked because I had to cut out certain parts of the video, and he's like, well, you didn't, do this properly because I didn't see that on camera. You didn't disassemble that on camera, so how do I know you did it? And I'm like, well, buddy, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you're telling me to follow this timeline or this time limit. I mean, so that's what we did. Some students chose to do like a speed up of the disassembly, like speed up the process. And then some students chose to just cut the video like I did, just do cuts. One of the instructors was super understanding about the time limit and did not give a rat's butt about it. I mean, he didn't care. Like, I made a 15.5-minute video on a 6-minute video time limit once, and he didn't care. So, some of this is also instructor based too. So it depends on what instructor you have and how they feel about the time limit. I'm sure, instructors that have more time on their hands aren't going to care as much from instructors that have 4 kids, 2 jobs, hobbies, a wife, and everything else. So I'm sure that kind of plays into that role there a little bit. So again, the time limit, it's a little bit of subjective. I do think it's necessary to have a time limit, but here's what I think should have been done with that. If I had to make a 20-minute video to explain to you how this assignment was supposed to be, to get my requirements done for the assignment, then let me make my 20-minute video. We don't want to make a 20-minute video, just like you don't want to watch a 20-minute video. So believe you me, if I can make it shorter, I'm going to. I've got better things to do than sit here and edit videos all day and stuff like that. So, we try to make it as quick as possible, but sometimes you just go over the limit. I mean, that's just how it is. So the time limit, needs to be worked on a little bit, I think, and kind of overhauled just a little bit. And I've got one other major complaint about this program, and this just kind of done it for me. It really made this program so much more disappointing from what I was, seeing going into this program. So the hammer-fired pistols course. And if you've taken this program and you're finished with this program, you will know what I'm talking about. The hammer-fired pistols course sucked. It was so disappointing. It was such a letdown. SDI, I hope you're watching. Please overhaul this. This is where constructive criticism is super useful. I'm not bashing the school. I think I've learned a lot from this institution prior to this program when I took the associate's program and to now when I took this new program. So SDIs gave me a lot of information, and I appreciate what they're doing, and they're doing an amazing job. But holy Lord, you need to overhaul this program. This course. It's very it's a put down, and I'll tell you why. So each course, like I said, like the revolver course, you got to do certain things within that specific platform. In the striker-fired course, you had to do specific things within the striker-fired platform. You learned about specific things in the striker-fired platform. But when it came to the hammer-fired pistol, that wasn't the case. So each firearm, we were supposed to, get it, disassemble it, reassemble it, or assemble it, disassemble it, whatever, and then do some kind of modification to it. Like on the revolver, we did a trigger job and spring replacements. On the PSA dagger, we did a stippling job, and we also had to assemble the thing anyway. When it came to the SAR B6, we did nothing. We disassembled it, reassembled it, and that was it. So each course, there was 1 week. In each of these courses, there was 1 week where we talked about the modifications in that platform. So kind of understand that better. In the revolver course, there was 1 week where we learned about modifications you can do to, and customizations you can do to revolvers. In the striker-fired pistols course, there was specific, material and lecture about doing modifications to striker-fired pistols, like Glocks, SIGs, so on and so on. Within the hammer-fired pistol, there was specific material for modifications for hammer-fired pistols. Now, within those weeks that we had to learn about modifications, we actually applied our learning and done a modification. So like on our revolver, like I said, we did a trigger job. On the PSA dagger, we did our stippling job. On the hammer-fired pistol, we did nothing. There was nothing. There was absolutely nothing. Actually, we did something, but it wasn't on this pistol, and this is where I told you I was going to talk about this in just a second. The compensator. So I don't have the compensator with me right now. Like I said, I took it off. You can find that in the video for the hammer-fired pistols course. But yeah, you heard that right. That's my big complaint, and that was a lot of students' complaints. We were supposed to be learning how to modify a hammer-fired pistol. We were sent a compensator, and we installed it on our striker-fired pistol. So we're doing work on a striker-fired pistol in a hammer-fired pistol course. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. And a lot of students were so disappointed. We were like, yeah, I feel like this hammer-fired pistols course doesn't even matter to us because we didn't do any work on the gun. All we did was disassemble it, reassemble it, and there really wasn't that much information as there was in the other two classes. The hammer-fired course was such a letdown. We didn't learn as much as we did in the striker-fired, the revolver course. We learned a lot of stuff in there, especially the revolver. It was packed full of stuff. But the hammer-fired pistol course, we literally did nothing to it. And when I saw that assignment, and it was like, you're going to be using your PSA dagger from your previous course to install the compensator while learning about modifying hammer-fired pistols, but you're going to be working on a striker-fired pistol. That makes no sense. And I don't know why they set it up like that. And I talked a lot more about this issue in my hammer-fired pistols course review. Like I said, down in the description, check it out. I don't understand though. I mean, that made no sense. They could have easily, I could tell you one thing that they could have done with this that would have made it so much easier. If they wanted us to install a compensator on the PSA dagger, then just include that into that week that we did the stippling job on the PSA dagger. Something that students were kind of wondering if we were ever going to do on this was a trigger job. You've got your springs down in here that you can replace. They make low-powered springs, a spring set for this gun. I even had to talk about that in the week of modifications for this gun. So, I don't understand that. Like I said, a lot of students were disappointed by the fact that we did nothing to this gun. And it made the hammer-fired pistols course so much more disappointing and so much more of a letdown than the other two courses that we took. So I think they need to reevaluate that. I think there needs to be more course-specific stuff for the hammer-fired pistols course. And I think they need to overhaul that course alone. Now, the other two courses, leave them where they are. They're fine. If you're going to continue to do the compensator, just include it in the striker-fired pistol course. I mean, there was no need to do that in another course where we were supposed to be learning about other stuff for other types of firearms. So, like I said, that was weird. And that's really about it, though. I mean, that's my major complaint. And you know what? To some of you guys, if you're thinking, well, that's not really that big of a deal. Well, to someone who's paying for this school, I looked up and I was blessed to have not paid for this, because I was using my VA benefits, my GI Bill and stuff to go to this school. But, for the people who has to pay for this out of pocket, that's a big letdown. And this program right now, I think it's sitting at about like $8,000 or something like that in total. For the tuition costs, so not cheap. You can buy a car for $8,000. I mean, not a new one, but you can buy a car for $8,000. So that's a lot of money to not do as much as you would probably think you would. So you need to overhaul the hammer-fired pistol course. Seriously, that was ridiculous. It was just basically a slap in the face, in my opinion. I think what happened was they kind of rushed this program a little bit. I think maybe they were in a hurry to kind of get this out to the public, and maybe they were like, "Oh, we need to do something." I don't think they had a plan for this firearm. I think they were like, "Oh man, we need to do something for the hammer-fired course," and we're like, some dude was probably just like, "Oh yeah, let's do a compensator installation." but we're going to do it on the striker-fired pistol instead of the hammer-fired gun. So I think that's maybe where that got wrong there. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but nevertheless, it doesn't matter. It needs to be overhauled because that is so misleading to students, and that's so. I mean, that was just weird, and none of the students liked it. Literally, none of them. And I'm pretty sure in the course review, there was like a survey that we had to do. I'm pretty sure a lot of people expressed that. I know I did. They can't change something. They can't see a problem if we don't talk about it. This is, like I said, this video isn't to bash SDI. I think it's a great school, but, we all make mistakes. We all can learn from things. We can all improve on things. And this is just something that, I hope the faculty sees, and I hope that they can change this for the better. Because, definitely need to learn more about hammer-fired pistols, and you definitely need to learn about hammer-fired pistols in that specific course and not other guns from other courses. So that's my major two complaints: the time limit and the crazy, ridiculous hammer-fired pistols course. Other than that, I had a decent time with this program. I learned quite a few things. Even though I didn't learn as much in the hammer-fired course, I learned a lot. And I think going into it and now, graduating, I'm more prepared now to work on specifically handguns than I was before. Because in the associate's program, it was a broad spectrum of firearms. Submachine guns, rifles, regular semi-automatic rifles, automatic rifles, military weapons, civilian firearms, shotguns, bolt-action rifles, pistols. There was all kinds of stuff you learned. So it was cool to see SDI kind of hone in on one specific type of thing, which was handguns. And then, into addition, they broke it down into specific platforms of handguns, so like revolvers, striker fire, hammer fire. So I think that was really good that they did that. Again, you need to overhaul hammer fired, but other than that, I mean, I had a blast. If you have any questions about this course, this program, drop it down in the comments below. I could have talked about a lot more, but I didn't. This is just kind of how I do things. I do them off the cuff, raw, unedited. There will be probably an edit somewhere in this video, but I don't really do much of that. I just kind of like to, say what I think and say what I feel when it's rolling off the tongue. So hopefully you guys have obtained a lot of knowledge, and kind of, if you're on the fence about going to this course or doing this program, hopefully you've made a decision. Please don't think that just because, the hammer-fired pistol course was a letdown is a reason to not take this program. I think that even with it being a letdown, there's still a lot to learn here. And trust me, that's going to get overhauled. There's no way it's not. So many students were complaining. That's probably going to get overhauled. Hello from the future. So I actually waited to upload this video because I've got some more information for you, actually. So, and a couple change of opinions. It's not bad to change your opinion because of certain things. I mean, when it comes to learning, I think personally that you can learn from something and you can develop an opinion, and then you can learn something else, take all of your collective knowledge, and then say, okay, hey, I think I was wrong about my opinion. I'm going to change it. Now, you could get into the whole rabbit hole about something else and about getting deep into that, but we're not going to because I want to stay on topic. So here's the news that I got, and then I'll talk about some change of opinions. So as I was waiting for some things to wrap up, because I just finished that, my program, I initially had, said in the discussion boards, all of my complaints, especially with the hammer-fired pistol course. And then I got an email back from my instructors saying that, look, SDI is aware, they've heard the issues, they are actively working on a way to fix these issues. So that's a good thing. So again, I think I said somewhere in this video, the one that I pre-recorded already, that, don't take these negative things, so bad that, hey, I don't want to take this program. This is a great school. It's going to teach you great things. And it's great that SDI has already acknowledged that, and they're already working on a fix for that. So that's good. Another thing, too, and again, change of opinion here. When I said I hated the SAR B6 and I think we should change it to the 1911, I think I might have changed my mindset on that. I don't think it's necessarily that we had to work with the SAR B6. I think it's the fact that I just didn't like the SAR B6, and that's okay. But as far as just the everyday student coming into this course learning things, I actually think it was a good thing. Because, see, the 1911 is easy to work on, whereas the SAR B6 has a very complex design nature, which is actually good for the student because it's teaching us to work outside of our comfort zone and work and develop skills that are harder things to learn. So that's good. It's actually a good thing. So, in my initial kind of impressions going straight out of, like literally the day or two after the program had ended, I was like, yeah, I don't like that. But I don't like the firearm. I don't mind the complex nature. That's the difference. I don't mind the complex nature of, hey, this is difficult and we're going to do something difficult. That's good. That's a good thing to teach students. My other sort of change of opinion is with the stippling. Okay, same deal, right? With the, PSA dagger, disassembling that, reassembling it, and then stippling that pistol, I initially said, hey, I hate that. But here's the reason why. Again, as I said before in the video that I just made, and you're actually watching because of this time jump, that I liked the laser stippling of the factory, stippling from the PSA dagger. I didn't want to change it because I liked that stippling. But again, it challenged me as a student, as a gunsmith, to go above and beyond, to actually go outside of my comfort zone and say, hey, look, we're going to do this, right? And again, it's not like we're working on a $1,000 Glock here, or a Glock clone. We're working on like a $200-300 pistol that I didn't even pay for because the VA paid for. Now, you might have to pay for this school, but I didn't. I'm blessed and I'm lucky to have that option. But it was a cheap firearm nonetheless, and it's not like I'm messing up a $1,000 pistol. We stippled a very cheap pistol. So my mindset's kind of changed there. I think those were decent things that maybe I was a little too harsh on, and that's why I think it was a good thing that I waited to actually upload this, because I wanted to express that I have change of opinions. It's a good thing. It's okay. It's okay. So again, overall, this course is great. As I said in the before of this time jump, this course is great. It taught me a lot of things. And, all the other pros, all the other opinions, everything else is kind of the same, minus a few of those minor, opinion changes. So, again, I think this course is great, and I think you're going to learn a lot of stuff. There's still things that I learned going in, having taken this program that I didn't know going into it. So, have I still got something out of this program? Absolutely. I've got something out of this program. So, I think that it is worth it to go to this to do this program and get this certification. Even though that there are some major complaints, I think it's still worth it. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's really it for this video. Hope you enjoyed this very long-winded video. Like I said, if you have any questions, drop it in the comments. Please watch those 3 reviews down in the comment, or down in the description below. I didn't make a review about the introductory course because I'd already taken that in my prior SDI experience. But like I said, all you need to know, it's basically just an introduction to firearms course. It's just getting you started in the gun world, essentially. And then the other courses, like I said, they're down in the review. Or if you're not even interested in taking this specific program and you're interested in other SDI offerings like their certificate in gunsmithing or their associates in firearms technology, I have a lot of reviews, each semester review and the final review and all kinds of stuff. Check it out in the playlist called Sonoran Desert Institute on my channel. I've got a bunch of videos on that. If you're new here and you like what you see, please feel free to subscribe and drop a like. And turn on those notifications so you don't get, so you don't miss a video. If you liked the video, please be sure to slap the like button, and I will see you all in the next video. Thank you all for watching.